tug your cloak tighter around your shoulders. The chill of a London winter nipping at your fingers as you stand before the unassuming brick wall behind the Leaky Cauldron. The Muggle world hums faintly behind you, car horns and distant chatter. But your heart races with anticipation. You raise your wand, its familiar weight a comfort in your hand, and tap the bricks in the sequence you've memorized. 3 up, 2 across. The wall trembles, then begins to shift, bricks grinding and folding away like a puzzle, unlocking a secret. A gust of frosty air rushes out, carrying the scent of pine, cinnamon, and something unmistakably magical. Perhaps a whiff of enchanted snow, or a potion brewing nearby. Before you, Diagon Alley unfurls in a breathtaking winter wonderland. Snow blankets the cobblestones, sparkling under the soft golden glow of floating lanterns that bob above the street like tiny suns. Icicles dangle from shop signs, their tips glinting in the light, while frost traces delicate patterns across warped glass windows. Your boots crunch as you take your first step, the sound muffled by the thick layer of snow that settled overnight. Witches and wizards bustle past, their cloaks dusted white, some clutching steaming mugs, others balancing stacks of parcels wrapped in brown paper and tied with twine. A child in a bright red scarf waves a toy wand, sending a flurry of harmless silver sparks into the air, giggling as they melt into the snow. You pause, taking in the scene. To your left, the Leaky Cauldron sign creaks in the gentle wind, its painted cauldron rimmed with ice. To your right, the alley stretches on, shop fronts alive with winter charm, wreaths of holly and everlasting ivy adorn doors, and tiny enchanted snowflakes drift lazily, never quite reaching the ground. A faint hum of carols, sung by a choir of bewitched toads, you'd guess, from the croaky harmony, floats from somewhere deeper in the alley. Your breath clouds in the air, and you feel the magic of Hogwarts' world wrapping around you like a warm, invisible embrace despite the cold. You glance up, noticing the sky above Diagon Alley is a pale, wintry gray, heavy with the promise of more snow. The air feels alive, tingling with the quiet power of charms keeping the street cozy. Anti-slip spells on the cobbles, warming enchantments radiating from the lanterns. You've been here before. Of course, perhaps as a wide-eyed, first-year gathering school supplies. But winter transforms Diagon Alley into something new, something softer and more wondrous. The hustle of summer, students clamoring for quills and cauldrons, has given way to a gentler pace, a festive calm that invites you to linger. Your eyes catch a glimpse of Gringotts in the distance, its white marble columns gleaming through the haze, crowned with snow like a goblin king's palace. Closer. The shop signs beckon, flourish, and blots, its windows stacked with books. Weasleys Wizard Wheezes, a riot of color even in the frost, and the faint hoot of owls from Aelop's Owl Emporium. You feel a tug of excitement. Where to begin? The cold bites at your fingertips, but the promise of exploration warms your spirit. You adjust your scarf, perhaps a Gryffindor red, a Slytherin green, or the hues of your own house, and take another step. Snow crunching beneath you. A witch in an emerald cloak brushes past, muttering about a sale on self-stirring cauldrons, and you catch the scent of roasted chestnuts from a nearby cart. A vendor, his beard dusted with snow, calls out, "Hot chestnuts! 2 kannets a bag." You smile, tempted, but decide to save that for later. The alley feels alive, a heartbeat of magic pulsing through the winter chill. You notice a group of Hogwarts students, 3rd years, maybe, clustered near a shop window, pointing at a display of enchanted ice skates that promise to glide over any surface, even thin air. Their laughter rings out, clear and bright, and you can't help but feel a pang of nostalgia for your own days at the castle. The thrill of a snowy Hogwarts winter. You're here with no urgent mission, no list of quills, robes, or potion ingredients to check off. Today, Diagon Alley is yours to explore, a cozy escape from the Muggle world, a place to wander and savor the season. The snow falls thicker now, fat flakes catching in your hair and on your cloak, and you tilt your head back, letting a few melt on your tongue. They taste faintly of vanilla, a subtle charm you suspect is the work of some clever shopkeeper. The alley stretches before you, a path of wonder, and you feel the pull to dive deeper, to see what secrets winter has tucked into Diagon Alley's nooks and crannies. You take a deep breath, the cold air sharp in your lungs, and let your feet carry you forward. Each step feels like the start of an adventure, the kind you'd read about in a Hogwarts tale. Harry, Ron, and Hermione once walked these streets, perhaps on a day like this, their own breath fogging in the chill. The magic of their world is yours now, and as you move toward the glowing shops, you can't wait to see what lies ahead in this snowy, enchanting corner of Diagon Alley. Your boots crunch against the snow-dusted cobblestones, each step a satisfying snap in the crisp winter air of Diagon Alley. The golden glow of the floating lanterns bathes the street in warmth, casting long, flickering shadows that dance across the frosty ground. You pull your cloak closer, the fabric brushing your chin as a gentle breeze swirls tiny snowflakes around you, some catching in the folds of your scarf. The shops on either side rise like storybook illustrations. Their signs: quality Quidditch supplies, slug and jiggers, apothecary, and more, creaking softly, rimmed with ice that glints like crystal in the light. The air carries a medley of scents, the sharp tang of pine from wreaths, the rich warmth of melting chocolate, and a faint, earthy whiff of potion fumes. You move forward, the uneven cobbles slick but steady beneath your feet, thanks to the subtle anti-slip charms woven into the street. Wizards and witches pass by, their chatter a low hum. Some debate the best broom polish for snowy flights. Others laugh about a miscast charm that turned a hat into a toad. A young wizard in a Hufflepuff yellow scarf hurries past, arms laden with parcels. A tiny, enchanted snowman trailing him, waddling and squeaking. Happy Christmas. You smile, your breath clouding in the chill, and let your gaze wander to the shop fronts, each one a beacon of festive magic. To your left, quality Quidditch, supplies, glows with promise, its window displaying a Nimbus 2001, its handle polished to a gleam, surrounded by miniature brooms that zip in circles, trailing red and green sparks. Snow dusts the display, and a sign reads, "Winter Ready Broom Kits. Fly through any blizzard." You imagine Harry Potter browsing here, his eyes bright with Quidditch dreams, perhaps on a snowy day like this before a Hogwarts match. The thought warms you, and you linger, tempted to step inside, but the alley pulls you onward, across the way. Gamble and Japes's window bursts with color, boxes of prank gifts, like self-activating mistletoe that chases kiss dodgers, wink at you through the frost. You chuckle, picturing Fred and George Weasley testing such tricks, their laughter echoing through a wintry Hogwarts hall. The snow crunches louder as you tread deeper, the crowd thinning slightly, revealing more of the alley's charm. A street lamp flickers, its flame charmed to burn blue and gold, casting a cozy glow over a cluster of witches, sharing a steaming pot of mulled mead. Their wands tucked into mittened hands. You pause to admire a small cart tucked beside a shop. Its vendor, a stout wizard with a beard like a snowdrift, stirring a cauldron of glowing, golden liquid. Glimmering glug warms you to your toes. 5 sickles, he calls, his voice jolly. You nod, intrigued, but keep moving, your boots sinking slightly into a fresh layer of snow. The cobblestones, ancient and worn from centuries of magical feet, feel alive beneath you, as if they hum with the history of Diagon Alley, Hagrid's heavy tread, Dumbledore's quiet steps, or young Hermione's eager rush to the bookshops. Your eyes catch a flicker of movement above. A flock of owls swoops low, their wings brushing the air, delivering parcels wrapped in twinkling paper. 1. A snowy owl like Hedwig perches on a lamppost, hooting softly as snowflakes settle on its feathers. You wave, and it blinks at you, wise and solemn, before taking flight again. The sight stirs a memory of Hogwarts letters arriving by owl, the thrill of your name in emerald ink, and you feel the magic of this place seep deeper into your bones. The shops grow cozier as you walk, their windows aglow with holiday displays. A tiny store, scribulous, writing instruments, shows quills that write in shifting colors, red to green to silver, perfect for Christmas cards. Next door, a bakery wafts the scent of fresh pumpkin pasties, their crusts dusted with powdered sugar, like snow. You inhale deeply, your stomach rumbling, and notice a group of children pressing their noses to the glass, pointing at gingerbread Hogwarts castles, complete with tiny iced turrets and moving chocolate gargoyles. Their delight is infectious, and you grin, feeling the same wonder you felt on your first trip here. The snow falls thicker now, blanketing the cobbles in a fresh, powdery layer, and you tilt your head back, letting flakes kiss your cheeks. They melt with a faint tingle, charmed perhaps to taste of peppermint, a Diagon Alley specialty. You glance down the street, where the towering silhouette of Gringotts looms, its snowy peaks stark against the gray sky. But closer, the warm lights of the Leaky Cauldron beckon, promising heat and a frothy butterbeer. Your fingers, chilled despite your gloves, ache for something warm to hold, and the thought of a cozy seat by the fire tugs at you. You take another step, the crunch of snow a steady rhythm, and feel the alley's magic wrap around you. Each shop, each light, each drifting snowflake whispers of the wizarding world's heart. Hogwarts' legacy alive in this wintry street. You're part of it, a wanderer in this snowy dream. And as the cold nips at your nose, you can't wait to see what glows around the next bend. You veer toward the Leaky Cauldron, the promise of warmth drawing you like a Lumos spell in the dark. The snow crunches under your boots as you approach. The familiar sign, its painted cauldron, now edged with a crust of ice, swaying gently in the winter breeze. You push open the heavy wooden door, and a wave of heat washes over you, carrying the rich scents of butterbeer, roasted chestnuts, and burning logs. The chatter of witches and wizards fills the air, a cozy hum of laughter and clinking mugs as you step inside, snowflakes melting off your cloak and dripping onto the worn floorboards. The pub is a haven from the chill, its walls dark and weathered, lined with crooked shelves of dusty bottles and flickering candles. You pause, letting the warmth seep into your fingers and toes, and scan the room. Wizards huddle at tables, some in thick woolen robes, others in scarves of house colors. Gryffindor red, Ravenclaw blue, sharing tales of Hogwarts or the latest Quidditch match. A fire roars in the massive hearth, its golden light dancing across the room, casting shadows that flicker like thestrals in the night. You feel a pang of nostalgia, imagining Harry, Ron, and Hermione here, plotting over butterbeers in their school days. You make your way to the bar, the floor creaking beneath you, and catch the eye of Tom, the old innkeeper, his bald head gleaming in the firelight. "Cold out there, eh?" he grumbles, sliding a steaming mug of butterbeer your way. You nod, wrapping your hands around it, the warmth tingling through your gloves. The first sip is heaven, sweet, buttery, and hot. It slides down your throat, warming you from the inside out. You savor the froth, the faint caramel flavor, and feel the cold of Diagon Alley melt away. You find a seat near the fire, a rickety wooden chair with a cushion charmed to stay plush and warm. Settling in, you stretch your legs, the heat of the flames licking at your boots, drying the snow that clings to them. Around you, the pub buzzes with life. A witch in a pointed hat reads the Daily Prophet, muttering about a snowstorm delaying the Hogwarts Express. Two goblins in the corner argue over a pile of galleons, their sharp voices cutting through the din. You smile, sipping your butterbeer, feeling as if you've stepped into a chapter of a Hogwarts tale. The walls seem to whisper history, scratches and stains from centuries of magical folk. Perhaps even Dumbledore himself. Pausing here for a quiet drink, you glance up, noticing a charmed tapestry above the hearth. It shows a snowy Diagon Alley, tiny figures moving through the scene, their cloaks billowing as they shop. A miniature you, perhaps, trudges through the snow, and you chuckle at the thought. The fire crackles, spitting sparks that float up the chimney, and you feel a deep, cozy calm settle over you, the kind that only a place like this can offer. You lean back, mug in hand, and watch the other patrons. A young witch, barely out of Hogwarts, shows her friend a tiny enchanted snow globe. Diagon Alley, swirling of its own swirling inside. "Shook it up myself," she says proudly. And you smile, remembering your own early experiments with magic. The butterbeer warms your chest, and the fire's glow paints the room in hues of gold and amber. You feel the weight of the winter day lift, the Leaky cauldron wrapping you in its timeless embrace. A barmaid, Hannah, you think, recognizing her kind face from past visits, brings a plate of warm biscuits, unasked. "On the house," she says with a wink, and you thank her, the buttery scent mingling with the fire's wood smoke. You nibble one, the crumbly texture melting in your mouth, and let your gaze drift to the windows. Outside, snow falls thick and fast, blanketing Diagon Alley in white. But in here, the world feels safe, warm, and magical. You imagine Hagrid bursting through the door, shaking snow from his massive coat, or Hermione poring over a book in a corner, her brow furrowed. The butterbeer mug is half empty now, and you take another slow sip, savoring the moment. A group of wizards by the fire breaks into a croaky rendition of a wizarding carol, Ode to the Wand, their voices rough but merry. You hum along, the tune familiar from Hogwarts' Great Hall, where the enchanted ceiling once mirrored a snowy sky, like today's. The Leaky cauldron feels like a bridge between that castle and this alley, a pocket of comfort in the wizarding world's heart. You glance at the door, tempted to return to the snowy adventure outside, but the fire's pull is strong. You finish your butterbeer, the last drops sweet and warm, and set the mug down. Your hands now toasty. The chatter, the fire, the faint tinkle of a charmed bell above the bar. It all blends into a cozy symphony. You feel ready to face the cold again. But for now, you linger, letting the Leaky cauldron's warmth recharge your spirit for the wintry wonders of Diagon Alley. The snow falls steadily, dusting your shoulders, and the cobblestones crunch beneath your boots as you head deeper into the alley. A burst of color catches your eye. Weasley's Wizard Wheezes. Its shopfront a riot of red, gold, and green, glowing like a firework against the wintry gray. The sign, bold and brash, swings above, icicles dangling from its edges, while a charmed display in the window launches tiny snowballs that explode into sparkles mid-air. You can't help but grin, imagining Fred and George Weasley plotting these pranks in their Hogwarts days. You push open the door, a bell jangling with a cheeky tune. Perhaps Weasley is our king, twisted into a jolly jingle. Inside, the shop buzzes with warmth and chaos. Shelves tower to the ceiling, crammed with boxes of skiving snack boxes, wildfire whiz-bangs, and new winter-themed tricks. A group of young witches giggles near a stack of snow sneak pellets, which promise to melt into a puddle that trips the unwary. You chuckle, the scent of gunpowder and peppermint filling the air. A peculiar but festive mix that's pure Weasley. A shop assistant, sporting a magenta robe and a grin, waves you over. "Try a frosty fizzler?" he asks, holding out a fizzing blue sweet. You take it, popping it into your mouth, and feel a tingle as your breath turns to frosty clouds, sparkling like tiny snowflakes. You laugh, the sound echoing, and the assistant winks. Perfect for a winter prank. You picture Ron testing these at Hogwarts, accidentally frosting his own eyebrows, and your heart warms at the thought of the Weasleys' legacy lighting up this snowy day. You wander deeper, your boots tapping the wooden floor, dodging a kid who's set off a mini blizzard from a winter whirlwind. Snow swirls around him, harmless and glittering, and his mother scolds. "Not indoors, Timmy!" You stifle a laugh, exploring the shelves. A box of iced itch powder catches your eye. Sprinkle it on a scarf, and it tickles for hours, warmed by a charm to keep the victim cozy. Another display boasts ever snow globes, which unleash a flurry when shaken, perfect for a dorm room prank. You marvel at the genius, the kind that once drove Professor McGonagall mad. The shop's warmth, charmed, no doubt, by a Weasley spell, keeps the cold at bay, and fairy lights in red and green twinkle overhead, casting a festive glow. You spot a poster. New Yule Yowl bombs explode in caroling chaos. A sample goes off in the corner, a puff of smoke belting out a croaky jingle wands. and customers roar with laughter. You feel the same delight, the magic of the twins' humor, lifting your spirits as snow dusts the windows outside. You pause at a rack of blizzard boxes, small cubes that promise a 5-minute snowstorm when tapped with a wand. You lift one, its surface cool and etched with tiny snowflakes, and imagine the chaos of unleashing it at a Hogwarts feast. Snow piling on the tables, Slytherins and Gryffindors alike, ducking and laughing. The price, 3 galleons, tempts you, but you set it down, content to browse. The shop pulses with energy, kids darting between aisles, parents clutching bags of tricks, all wrapped in the Weasleys' brand of joy. A mirror in the corner catches your eye, enchanted. Of course. You step closer, and your reflection winks, then sprouts a snowy beard that melts away in seconds. Weasley's winter mirror, prank your face, the sign reads. You laugh aloud, the sound blending with the chatter, and feel a connection to the Hogwarts spirit. Fred and George's mischief, a thread in the tapestry of this world. You turn, spotting a shelf of peppermint poppers, tiny firecrackers that snap with a minty burst, and pick one up, rolling it in your palm. The assistant reappears, offering a demo. Watch this. He taps a glacial guffaw with his wand, and a puff of icy mist fills the air, echoing with a deep, jolly laugh, like Father Christmas gone rogue. You clap, delighted, the cold mist brushing your cheeks. The shop feels alive, a whirlwind of pranks and winter magic, and you can almost hear the twins' voices, plotting their next big idea. You wander to the counter, where stacks of wrapped gifts, tied with twinkling ribbon, wait for daring buyers. You linger, soaking in the chaos and warmth, the snow outside framing the windows like a painting. A child sets off another prank, a frosty fartler that puffs blue smoke and a silly sound, and the room erupts in giggles. You feel the Weasley spirit everywhere, bold, bright, and unapologetic, making this corner of Diagon Alley a burst of fun in the winter chill. Your fingers tingle from the frosty fizzler, still, and you decide to grab a small bag of them, handing over a few sickles. The assistant wraps them in red paper, and you tuck them into your cloak, ready for a laugh later. You glance at the door, the snowy alley calling, but the shop's charm holds you a moment longer. Weasley's Wizard Wheezes glows with the magic of mischief, a perfect stop in your wintry journey, and you feel lighter, warmed by laughter and the Weasley legacy. You step out of the fun shop, the bag of frosty fizzlers tucked safely in your cloak, and the snowy chill of Diagon Alley greets you once more. Your boots crunch as you turn down the cobblestone path, the golden lanterns casting a warm glow across the frosted ground. Ahead, flourish and blots looms, its crooked sign dusted with snow, the windows aglow with stacks of books that seem to beckon you inside. The sight stirs a Hogwarts memory, rushing here for school lists, maybe clutching a copy of Hogwarts, a history. Like Hermione, you smile, pushing open the door, a soft bell chiming as a wave of warmth and the scent of parchment envelops you. Inside, the shop is a cozy haven, shelves towering to the rafters, stuffed with leather-bound tomes, scrolls, and quills that flutter faintly as if alive. Snowflakes drift in behind you, melting on the worn wooden floor, and you brush more from your cloak. The air hums with quiet magic, books shifting softly, rearranging themselves with a whisper of charms. A witch in a blue robe browses nearby, muttering, "Need advanced potion making for newts," while a clerk levitates a stack of texts to a high shelf. You feel the pull of knowledge, the same thrill you felt as a student. You wander to a display labeled Winter Reads, where books gleam under fairy lights strung like stars. The Tales of Beedle. The Bard sits in a special edition, its cover embossed with silver snowflakes, and you run your fingers over it, recalling cozy nights by the Hogwarts fire, listening to dormitory tales. Next to it, Magical Winter Charms promises spells for conjuring everlasting snow or warming cloaks, perfect for a day like this. You pick it up, the pages crackling, and flip to a chapter on frost fire spells, imagining casting a flame that burns cold and blue in the snow. Deeper in, shelves creak under the weight of history. You spot A History of Magic by Bathilda Bagshot, its spine worn, and think of long Hogwarts lessons. Professor Binns droning on. You pull it down, the leather cool in your hands, and skim a passage about ancient Yule rituals, wizards dancing under charmed icicles, wands aglow. The words paint a vivid scene, and you feel tied to the wizarding past. Diagon Alley, a living echo of it. Snow taps the windows, a soft patter, and you glance out, seeing the alley blurred white, the shop's warmth a perfect contrast. You move to the spellbook section, shelves packed with titles like Standard Book of Spells, Grade 5, and Hexes for the Hearth, Winter Edition. A small, curious tome catches your eye. Snowbound Sorcery enchantments for icy days. You open it, and a tiny flurry of conjured snow swirls from the pages, dusting your face with a cool, tingling kiss. You laugh softly, brushing it away, and read a spell for crafting a snow sculpture that moves, perhaps a tiny hippogriff to prance in your palm. The idea delights you. A spark of Hogwarts magic in your hands. A ladder nearby slides along its rail, charmed to carry a young wizard to a high shelf. He grabs Quidditch through the ages, and you smile, picturing Harry poring over it, dreaming of the snitch. You step aside as a stack of books floats past, guided by a clerk's wand, and head to a corner piled with ancient tomes. Dust motes dance in the light, and you find magical creatures of the frozen north, its pages illustrated with frost-white dragons and ice phoenixes, their wings shimmering in ink. You linger, lost in the wonder. The shop's quiet buzz wrapping you in comfort. The air grows cozier, a heating charm keeping the chill at bay. And you notice a small table with a sign: Winter Tales for Witches and Wizards. Children's books glow there. The Snowy Snitch tells of a Quidditch match in a blizzard. The Golden Snitch glinting through snow. You pick it up, the illustrations moving, players swooping on brooms as flakes fall. You imagine reading this by the Gryffindor fire, or maybe in Ravenclaw's airy tower, and feel a tug of nostalgia for those days. You tuck Snowbound Sorcery under your arm, deciding it's yours, and wander toward the counter. The shop hums with life, witches flipping pages, a wizard testing a self-inking quill that writes in silver. Snow dusts the windows thicker now, framing the view of Diagon Alley like a picture, and you feel the magic of flourish and blots seep into you. The clerk, a kindly witch with spectacles, wraps your book in brown paper, tying it with twine. Perfect for a snowy night, she says, and you nod, picturing yourself curled up, wand lit, reading by candlelight. You pause at the door, book in hand, the weight of it comforting. The shop's warmth clings to you, the scent of ink and leather lingering, and you feel ready to brave the cold again. Flourish and blots has filled you with stories and spells, a piece of Hogwarts to carry through the wintry alley, and you can't wait to see what's next. Your boots crunch through the fresh powder, the cobblestones glistening under the glow of floating lanterns, as you head toward a familiar sign. the magical menagerie. Its windows, fogged with warmth from within, are framed with frost, and faint hoots and mews drift through the air. You recall your first Hogwarts trip, maybe picking out a pet, an owl, a cat, or even a toad, and smile as you push open the door, a bell tinkling with a sound like a purring Kneasel. Inside, the shop is a cozy haven, the air thick with the earthy scent of straw, fur, and a hint of enchanted feed. Cages and pens line the walls, glowing softly with warming charms to keep the creatures snug in the winter chill. You brush snow from your cloak, feeling the heat wrap around you, and take in the bustle. A witch coos at a puffapod, its fluffy form shivering in delight, while a young wizard peers at a tank of frost toads, their icy blue skin shimmering. The magic of this place, tied to Hogwarts' tradition of pets, feels alive and warm. You wander to a corner where owls perch, their feathers ruffled against the cold. A barn owl blinks at you, wise and steady, its golden eyes like tiny Lumos spells. Nearby, a snowy owl, Hedwig's kin, perhaps, hoots softly, nestled in a bed of straw sprinkled with glittering ice crystals, a charm to mimic their wintry homes. You reach out, and it nips your finger gently, a friendly greeting, and you laugh, the sound mingling with the rustle of wings. You imagine carrying a Hogwarts letter in its beak, soaring over a snowy castle. Further in, cats prowl or curl in cushioned baskets, their eyes glinting in the dim light. A sleek, black Kneasel hybrid, whiskers dusted with snow from a recent romp outside, pads over and brushes your leg. You kneel, scratching its ears, and it purrs, a low rumble that warms your heart. A sign reads, "Winter coat charms, keep your pet toasty." And you picture these creatures scampering through Hogwarts halls, warming students' laps by the fire. The thought of Crookshanks, Hermione's clever companion, makes you smile as you stroke the Kneasel's soft fur. You move to a pen of rats, their tiny feet pattering in straw, some charmed to glow faintly, red, green, gold, for the season. A plump gray one twitches its nose, and you think of Ron's scabbers, though hopefully less treacherous. You chuckle, watching it nibble a frosted treat, and wander on, the air alive with chirps, hisses, and the faint croak of toads. A tank of ice toads catches your eye, their webbed feet paddling in a charmed puddle that never freezes. Their croaks a low, soothing song. You lean closer, mesmerized by their delicate, icy patterns. A shopkeeper, a wiry wizard in a fur-lined robe, approaches. "Looking for a winter friend?" he asks, gesturing to a cage of flitterby moths, their wings glowing like tiny lanterns, perfect for lighting a snowy path. You shake your head, content to browse, and he points to a pen of bowtruckles, tiny and twig-like, nestled in straw, warmed by a flickering charm. "Good for a wand tree bond," he says, and you nod, recalling Professor Sprout's lessons on their pickiness. You drift to a display of supplies, enchanted feed that sparkles, tiny cloaks for cats, and owl treats shaped like snowflakes. You pick up a bag of the treats, their vanilla scent tempting, and imagine an owl swooping through the snow to deliver them. The shop hums with life, creatures rustling in their cozy nests, and you feel the thread of Hogwarts here. Pets that rode the express, slept in dorms, or carried notes between friends. A Kneasel kitten, fluffy and gray, mews at you, and you pause, tempted, its wide eyes pleading. The window's fog thicker now, snow piling outside, but the magical menagerie's warmth holds strong. You spot a jar of frost fur polish, promising a shiny coat for any beast, and a stack of tiny beds, charmed to stay warm and dry. A child nearby squeals as a puffapod rolls over, dusting her with glittery pollen, and you laugh, the sound blending with the creature's chorus. The shop feels like a pocket of the wizarding world, a bridge to Hogwarts halls where owls soared and cats prowled. You decide on the owl treats, handing a few kennuts to the shopkeeper, who wraps them in brown paper. "Safe travels in the snow," he says, and you nod, tucking the parcel into your cloak. The Kneasel brushes your leg again, purring, and you give it one last scratch, reluctant to leave this cozy menagerie. The creature's warmth and the shop's magic linger in your chest. A piece of Hogwarts to carry as you turn toward the door, ready for the snowy alley beyond. Your boots crunch through the thickening snow, the golden lanterns casting a soft glow across the frosted cobblestones as you turn toward the towering silhouette of Gringotts Wizarding Bank. Its white marble columns rise like icy sentinels, crowned with snow, their grandeur stark against the gray winter sky. Icicles hang from the eaves, glinting like goblin-forged daggers, and you feel a shiver of awe recalling tales of Harry, Ron, and Hermione's daring break-in deep beneath this very place. You approach the massive bronze doors, your breath clouding in the cold, and a goblin guard, short, sharp-eyed, and bundled in a fur-trimmed cloak, nods curtly, his long fingers gripping a staff. The doors creak open, revealing the vast marble hall, its floor polished to a mirror-like sheen, reflecting the flickering light of chandeliers dripping with crystal and ice. You step inside, the echo of your boots soft against the grandeur, and the air shifts, still cool, but tempered by charms that keep the worst of the winter at bay. Goblins perch at counters, scratching at ledgers with quills, their eyes glinting like galleons. You pause, taking in the majesty. The walls, carved with ancient runes, seem to hum with the magic of centuries. Goblin craftsmanship that's guarded wizarding gold since before Hogwarts stood. Snow dusts the high windows, filtering light into a pale, wintry glow. And you imagine the vaults below, packed with treasure, guarded by dragons and spells. Your fingers brush your cloak, where a small pouch of coins jingles. Galleons, sickles, and knuts, enough for today's wanderings. You feel a thrill, picturing Hagrid leading Harry here, a wide-eyed boy, to claim his fortune. You approach a counter, the goblin behind it peering down, his pointed nose twitching. "Business?" he grunts, quill poised. You smile, shaking your head. "Just looking," you say, and he huffs, returning to his ledger. You linger, watching goblins weigh glittering coins on golden scales, their movements precise, almost hypnotic. A sign nearby reads, "Winter Exchange, Muggle notes to wizarding coin, swift and secure." You think of Muggle-born students, nervous and awed, trading pounds for galleons on their first trip to Diagon Alley. The hall stretches long and wide, its marble cool beneath your feet, and you wander toward a side corridor where framed parchments boast of Gringotts history. One details the founding, goblins forging alliances with wizards, their trust hard-won. Another hints at the depths, vaults locked by spells, traps, and the rumored dragon, its fiery breath a legend from the trio's escape. You shiver, not from cold, but from the weight of this place. Its icy grandeur a cornerstone of the wizarding world, as vital to Hogwarts' legacy as the castle itself. A cart rattles past, guided by a goblin, its wheels clattering as it vanishes down a tunnel toward the vaults. You imagine the ride, plunging through dark, twisting tracks, the air rushing past, coins and jewels glinting in the gloom. You've been down there before. Perhaps. Your key clutched tight. The goblin at the helm grumbling about speed. Today, though, you stay above, content to marvel at the hall. Icicles gleam above, charmed to drip without falling. And the chandeliers cast prisms across the marble, painting it with light like a frozen rainbow. You notice a small display, goblin-made trinkets for sale, a winter special, tiny silver snowflakes, forged with magic, dangle from chains, each unique, their edges sharp, yet beautiful. A sign boasts everlasting ice pendants, cool to the touch, warm in spirit. 10 galleons. You run your fingers over one, the metal cold, yet tingling with a charm, and consider it, tempted by its craftsmanship. Goblins nearby eye you, their gazes shrewd, and you smile, stepping back, your pouch of coins still safe for now. The hall buzzes quietly. Wizards depositing gold, goblins tallying with relentless precision. A witch in a scarlet cloak argues about vault access, her voice low, while a child tugs her hand, pointing at the chandeliers, awed. You feel the same wonder, the bank's icy splendor, a contrast to Diagon Alley's cozy shops, yet part of its magic. You think of Hogwarts, where gold from these vaults bought wands, robes, and dreams, and feel connected to every student who stood here. You turn, boots echoing, and head toward the doors. The cold outside calling, the marble gleams, the goblins work on, and the air hums with the quiet power of Gringotts. You pause, glancing back at the vast hall, its icy beauty etched in your mind. A piece of the wizarding world's heart, strong and unyielding, even in winter's grip. The doors loom ahead, and you brace for the snow, ready for the next wonder of Diagon Alley. Your boots crunch through the fresh powder, the cobblestones slick beneath, as you follow the golden glow of lanterns toward a familiar sign. Florean Fortescue's ice cream parlor. In winter, it's transformed. The usual frosty treats swapped for warm delights, and the windows twinkle with fairy lights, snowflakes clinging to the glass. You recall Harry's summer days here, scooping free sundaes, and smile, pushing open the door to a jingle of charmed bells and a rush of sweet, steamy air. Inside, the parlor is a cozy retreat, the air thick with the scent of chocolate, cinnamon, and vanilla. Tables are scattered about, their surfaces charmed to glow faintly, and witches and wizards chat softly, cradling steaming mugs. The walls, painted with murals of frolicking ice cream cones, now show enchanted snowmen sipping hot drinks, their scarves fluttering. You brush snow from your shoulders, feeling the warmth of a heating charm seep into your bones, and head to the counter, where a chalkboard lists winter specials: gingerbread gilly water, toasted treacle, cocoa, butterbeer hot blast. You order a toasted treacle cocoa, handing over a few sickles, and the barista, a cheerful witch with a candy cane striped apron, waves her wand. A cauldron bubbles, and a mug fills with rich, dark cocoa, topped with a swirl of whipped cream and a sprinkle of golden treacle dust that sparkles like a charm. You wrap your hands around it, the heat soothing your chilled fingers, and take a sip. The sweetness melts on your tongue, a warm hug of toffee and chocolate, and you sigh, the cold of Diagon Alley fading away. You find a seat by the window, a cushioned bench with a view of the snowy street. The mug warms your palms, and you settle in, watching flakes drift past, the lanterns outside casting a golden haze. A group of Hogwarts students, Ravenclaws, by their blue scarves, laughs at a nearby table, their mugs steaming as they trade tales of snowy Quidditch matches. You imagine Harry here, resting between shops, Florian himself piling treats before him, and feel a thread of that history. The parlor a cozy stop in the wizarding world. The cocoa's warmth spreads through you, and you glance around, noting the festive touches. Garlands of everlasting holly drape the ceiling, twinkling with tiny orbs of light. And a small tree in the corner glows with charmed ornaments, mini scoops of ice cream that shift flavors, from peppermint to pumpkin, pasty. A sign boasts winter warmers, free refills for the weary. And you smile, sipping again, the treacle dust tingling faintly. A subtle magic. The fire in the hearth crackles, casting a golden glow, and you feel wrapped in comfort. The chill outside a distant memory. A young wizard at the counter orders a butterbeer hot blast, and you watch as the barista waves her wand, steam rising in a golden spiral. The scent wafts over, buttery and rich, and you're tempted to try one next. You lean back, the bench creaking softly, and let the cocoa soothe you, each sip a burst of warmth. The murals shift, a snowman now toasting a marshmallow with a tiny, wand-lit flame. And you chuckle, picturing Florian's delight at winter's twist on his summer trade. You notice a small jar on the table. Enchanted sugar stars, the label reads. Sprinkle for a sweet surprise. You tap a few into your cocoa, and they fizz, turning the whipped cream a shimmering silver, the flavor deepening to a honeyed glow. You sip again, delighted, and think of Hogwarts' Great Hall, where hot drinks warmed cold nights after a snowy trek from Hogsmeade. The parlor feels like an extension of that magic, a cozy nook in Diagon Alley's winter heart. The students laugh again, one waving a wand to float a marshmallow into her friend's mug. And you grin, the playfulness infectious. Outside, snow piles thicker, blanketing the cobbles, and a vendor's call, hot chestnuts, drifts through the glass. You feel content, the cocoa's heat in your chest, the parlor's glow around you. The barista hums a carol, her wand stirring a cauldron, and you tap your foot. The tune familiar from Hogwarts' festive feasts. You finish your cocoa, the last drops rich and warm, and set the mug down, tempted by the free refill, but eager to explore more. The parlor's charm lingers, the scents and sights a balm against the cold. You rise, pulling your cloak tight, and glance out at the twinkling alley, the snow falling in fat, lazy flakes. Florian's has warmed you, body and soul, a sweet pause in your wintry journey, and you feel ready to wander Diagon Alley's snowy paths again. Your boots crunch through the powdery snow, the cobblestones glinting under the golden glow of floating lanterns, and you turn toward a familiar, narrow shop front. Ollivanders, the sign. Makers of fine wands since 382 B.C. Swings gently, its letters dusted with frost, and the windows glow with a soft, silvery light, icicles framing them like delicate curtains. You pause, heart quickening, recalling your first visit, nervous and awed, waiting for your wand to choose you, just as it did for Harry Potter. You push open the door, a faint tinkle of a bell echoing in the quiet, and a wave of warmth greets you, laced with the scent of polished wood and old magic. The shop is dim, cozy, shelves stretching to the ceiling, crammed with narrow boxes that hum with potential. Snowflakes melt off your cloak, dripping onto the worn floor, and you feel the weight of centuries, wands that armed Hogwarts students, perhaps even Dumbledore or Voldemort, crafted here. The windows glow, displaying wands on velvet cushions, each tip sparkling with frosty light, a winter charm to draw the eye. No one's at the counter, but a soft rustle comes from the back, and you imagine Mr. Ollivander, gray-eyed and ancient, sorting his treasures. You step forward, your boots soft on the floor, and peer at the display. A wand of holly and phoenix feather, Harry's, you think, sits in replica, its handle gleaming, surrounded by conjured snowflakes that drift without falling. Another, labeled Winter Willow, Dragon Heartstring, glows faintly blue, a seasonal special, and you wonder what magic it holds, what spells it might cast in a snowy duel. You run your fingers along your own wand, tucked in your cloak, feeling its familiar warmth. You remember that day, boxes tumbling, sparks flying, until the right one chose you. A moment of pure Hogwarts magic. The shop feels alive, a quiet pulse of power in the air, and you wander deeper, shelves towering like a forest of secrets. A sign reads, "Wand, care for winter, polish with frost wax. 2. Sickles." And you picture your wand gleaming, ready for charms in the snow. A faint creak sounds, and Mr. Ollivander emerges, his pale eyes glinting like moonlight. "Browsing, are we?" he asks, voice soft but piercing, and you nod, smiling. He gestures to the window. Winter wands, charmed for the season, extra spark for cold days. You glance back, the frosted display mesmerizing, wands glowing amid icy swirls, and feel a tug of wonder. He shuffles off, muttering about unicorn hair, and you're left to explore. The shop's magic wrapping you in a cozy embrace. You peer at a shelf, boxes labeled in spidery script, chestnut, hawthorn, elder. You think of the Elder Wand, its dark legend from Dumbledore's past, and shiver, not from cold, but awe. A small box catches your eye, its label reading, "Birch, Phoenix Feather, 10 inches, pliable." You don't touch, Ollivander's rule, but imagine it choosing a young witch, her eyes wide, bound for Hogwarts. The thought warms you, tying this quiet shop to the castle's legacy, its students armed by these walls, the windows fog slightly, snow piling outside. And you notice a tiny table with wand care goods, pots of shimmering wax, cloths charmed to shine, and a vial of snow spark oil to boost winter spells. You pick up a cloth, its fabric soft and warm, and consider it. tempted to keep your wand gleaming through the frost. The shop hums, a faint whisper of magic from the wands, and you feel their power, each waiting for its match. A bond as old as wizarding kind. A young wizard steps in, snow dusting his hat, and Ollivander whisks him away, murmuring, "Let's see what chooses you." You watch, heart swelling, as boxes float down, a faint glow sparking, another story beginning. You think of your own wand, its loyalty through charms and jinxes. Maybe a snowy Hogwarts night when you cast Lumos to light your way. The shop's warmth, the frosted windows, the quiet buzz. It's a haven, a piece of the wizarding heart. You set the cloth down, deciding your wand's fine for now, and glance outside. The snow falls thicker. Diagon Alley, a blur of white and gold, and you feel ready to move on. Ollivanders lingers in your mind, its frosty windows and ancient magic, a perfect stop. A whisper of Hogwarts in the winter air. You pull your cloak tight, the weight of your wand comforting, and step toward the door, eager for the next snowy wonder. Ahead, slug and jiggers. Apothecary beckons, its windows aglow with a deep amber light, frosted glass etched with swirling patterns of ice. Jars of potion, ingredients glimmer inside, twinkling like stars, and you feel a stir of excitement, recalling Hogwarts potions classes, Snape's stern gaze, the bubbling cauldrons, and Hermione's perfect brews. You push open the door, a waft of earthy, sharp scents, dried herbs, pickled roots, and something tangy greeting you as warmth wraps around you. The shop is a cozy maze, shelves packed to the ceiling with jars, vials, and bundles, all bathed in the flicker of charmed candles. Snow melts off your scarf, dripping to the worn floor, and you take in the sight. Glass containers of beetle eyes, shimmering scales, and frosty mandrake leaves, their labels curling in spidery script. The air hums with quiet magic, a potion brewer's haven in the heart of winter. You wander to a display labeled Winter Potions Essentials, where jars glow under twinkling lights. A pot of powdered asphodel, dusted with frost, sits beside a vial of frozen moon dew, its liquid glinting blue. You imagine brewing a warming draught, the kind Professor Sprout might have praised, to chase away the cold on a snowy Hogwarts night. You lift a jar of peppermint sprigs, charmed to stay crisp, and inhale, sharp and cool, perfect for a pepper-up potion to steam away a chill. The scent sparks a memory of nursing a cold in the common room. Steam rising from your cup. Deeper in. Shelves brim with oddities. Slimy flobberworm mucus. Glittering unicorn hair. And a basket of ice blue shrivel figs. Labeled fresh from frosty peaks. You pause at a jar of frost flower petals, their edges sparkling like snow, and read the note. For calming elixirs, glows in winter light. You picture stirring them into a potion, the cauldron bubbling, the glow lighting your face as you whisper the charm. The shop feels alive, tied to Hogwarts dungeons, where you once measured and mixed under flickering torchlight. A witch in a heavy cloak brushes past, clutching a bundle of knot grass, muttering about a holiday brew. You smile, stepping to a counter where a cauldron simmers, tended by a wizened apothecary. Winter special, frostbite tonic, he rasps, stirring a silvery mix that steams gently. Keeps toes warm. 5 sickles. You nod, tempted, and watch the liquid swirl, its sheen like moonlight on snow. The scent, ginger and sage, warms your chest, and you feel the pull of potion making, a craft as old as the wizarding world. You explore further, boots tapping the floor, and find a nook of rare goods, a vial of phoenix tears, tiny and radiant, catches your eye, priced in galleons and precious. You think of Dumbledore, his wisdom tied to such magic, and marvel at the power here, nestled in frosted jars. Nearby, a stack of winter potion kits offers ingredients for a soothing snow draft. Lavender, ice mint, and a pinch of powdered horn. You lift one, the parcel crinkling, imagining a quiet night, steam rising as you stir by candlelight. The shop's warmth holds you, candles flickering, their light dancing across the glass. Outside, snow taps the windows, framing Diagon Alley in white. But in here, the air is thick with possibility. A young wizard weighs beetle eyes, his scales clinking, and you recall your own Hogwarts lists, potion supplies clutched tight, eager for Snape's class, or maybe Slughorn's. The apothecary hums a low tune, and you feel wrapped in the cozy craft. Each jar, a piece of the magic that fueled your school days. You decide on the peppermint sprigs, handing over a few sickles. The apothecary wraps them in brown paper, the bundle rustling as you tuck it into your cloak. Good for a warm brew, he says, and you nod, picturing a steaming cup, the steam curling in the cold. The shop buzzes softly, customers browsing, jars clinking, and you linger soaking in the earthy glow, the frosted glass twinkling like a potion's promise. You turn toward the door, the weight of your parcel a comfort. The apothecary's magic clings to you, a whisper of Hogwarts' dungeons, where potions bubbled and secrets brewed. Snow falls thicker outside, the alley a blur of white and gold, and you feel ready to wander on. The twinkling jars of slug and jiggers, a warm memory in Diagon Alley's wintry embrace. A faint hoot echoes through the frosty air as you linger outside slug and jiggers, the warm scent of peppermint sprigs still clinging to your cloak. You glance up, drawn by the sound, and spot the crooked sign of Elop's Owl Emporium, its wooden frame dusted with snow, glowing softly in the winter dusk. The windows shimmer with a silvery light, and through the fogged glass, you see feathered shapes shifting, their eyes like tiny beacons. Memories of Hogwarts flood back. Owls swooping into the great hall, letters from home clutched in their talons. Perhaps a snowy owl like Hedwig bearing news. You stride toward the shop, eager for its cozy embrace. The door swings open with a gentle creak, and a rush of warm air greets you, rich with the scent of straw, feathers, and a hint of toasted oats. Inside, Elop's is a haven, perches lining the walls, owls of every kind, barn, tawny, snowy, blinking down at you from nests of charmed straw that glow faintly to keep them snug. You shake a few snowflakes from your scarf, your eyes adjusting to the soft light of floating orbs, and take in the scene. A young witch coos to a tiny screech owl, its feathers fluffed against the chill, while hoots fill the air like a quiet chorus. You approach a row of perches where a snowy owl, pristine and regal, tilts its head, its golden eyes piercing. It hoots softly, a low, soothing sound, and you reach out, your fingers hovering as it ruffles its feathers, snow dusting off like powder. You imagine it soaring through a blizzard, a Hogwarts letter tied to its leg, delivering news to a student by the fire. The thought warms you, tying this shop to the castle's heart, where owls were companions, messengers, and friends through snowy winters. Nearby, a barn owl preens, its wings a mottled brown, and you watch as it nibbles a charmed treat, the crumbs glowing faintly red. A sign reads, "Winter Owl Snacks, Warmth and Strength, 3 nuts." and you smile, picturing these birds braving the cold to reach Hogsmeade or the castle. You move to a corner where tiny owls, scops, no bigger than your hand, huddle together, their hoots high and chirpy. One blinks at you, bold and curious, and you chuckle, the sound blending with the rustle of feathers and the shop's gentle hum. A wizard in a thick cloak tends the counter, scattering feed that sparkles like frost. Need an owl for the season? He asks, his voice gruff but kind. You shake your head, content to wander, and he points to a perch of eagle owls, their gazes fierce, feathers fluffed against the chill. Tough ones, these, fly through any snowstorm, he says, and you nod, imagining them battling winds above Hogwarts towers, their wings cutting the icy air. You pause by a display of owl gear, tiny hoods, charmed to warm, and silver bells that tinkle with a spell to call them back. You lift a bell, its sound clear and bright, and think of nights in the Hogwarts owlery, the air thick with hoots and snow. The shop feels alive, a pocket of magic tied to your school days. And you wander on, drawn to a snowy owl perched high, its white feathers blending with the frost outside. It hoots again, a deep, resonant call, and you feel a pang of wonder. The windows fog with warmth, snow piling thick beyond, and you notice a basket of frost flight treats, glowing blue and promising stamina for wintry flights. You pick one up, rolling it in your palm. The scent of honey and sage, faint but tempting. A child nearby squeals as a tiny owl lands on her arm, its talons gentle, and you smile, the shop's energy wrapping you in coziness. The owl's eyes follow you, wise and steady, and you feel their connection to the wizarding world, messengers of Hogwarts' legacy. You decide on the treat, handing over a few knuts, and the wizard wraps it in twine-tied paper. Keeps 'em flying strong, he grunts, and you tuck it into your cloak, warmed by the thought of a snowy owl's journey. The shop hums, feathers rustling, hoots echoing, and you linger, soaking in the glow. The perches a forest of feathered friends. Elops feels like a piece of Hogwarts, alive in Diagon Alley's winter, and you're reluctant to leave. You turn, the floor creaking under your boots, and glance out at the snowy dusk, the alley a blur of white. The owls hoot a soft farewell, their warmth and magic clinging to you. A cozy memory of winged wonders. You pull your cloak tight, ready to brave the cold. The next stop in Diagon Alley, calling through the snow. The door of Elop's Owl Emporium swings shut behind you, the hoots fading as a gust of winter wind swirls snow around your ankles. You tug your scarf tighter, eyes tracing the narrow, winding paths branching off Diagon Alley's main stretch, their cobblestones blanketed in white, barely lit by the faint glow of distant lanterns. The icy alleys beckon, promising hidden wonders, and you feel a spark of adventure, the kind that drove Harry, Ron, and Hermione to explore beyond the obvious. With a deep breath, you veer left, stepping into a shadowed lane, the chill biting as the bustle of the main street softens behind you. Your boots sink into untouched snow, the silence wrapping around you, broken only by the faint whistle of wind through the tight, crooked passage. The walls, ancient brick and wood, worn by centuries of magic, lean in, their surfaces frosted, sparkling under stray beams of light. You trail your fingers along the icy stone, feeling a tingle of old charms, perhaps wards or warming spells from long ago shopkeepers. The alley twists, narrower now, and you imagine sneaking through here as a Hogwarts student, seeking secrets or shortcuts, the thrill of the unknown in your chest. A flicker of light ahead draws you on, and you emerge into a tiny pocket of stalls, their awnings sagging under snow, lanterns bobbing above like fireflies. A wizard in a patched cloak tends a cart, his breath clouding as he calls, "Enchanted ice charms, light your way. 2 knuts." You pause, eyeing the small, glowing orbs, each pulsing blue and warm, melting snow in tiny halos. You hand over a few coins, and he drops one into your palm, its heat soothing, a perfect companion for a wintry wander. You move deeper, the alley curving again, and find a hidden nook, a stall draped in evergreen, offering winter wisp bottles. The glass vials glow, tiny wisps of light dancing inside, labeled "Release for a guiding glow." You lift one, the light shifting like a Hogwarts ghost, and think of Lumos spells cast in snowy corridors, guiding you to class. The vendor, a witch with a frosty braid, smiles. Lost in the alleys? These'll lead you back, she says, and you nod, tucking the vial into your cloak, its warmth a quiet comfort. The path twists, snow crunching underfoot, and you spot a cluster of tiny shops, their signs half buried in white. One reads, tinkers trinkets, its window showing charmed snow globes, mini Diagon alleys swirling inside, tiny figures trudging through snow. You lean closer, the scene alive, and imagine shaking one in your dorm, watching the magic unfold. Another stall offers frost fire logs, wood that burns cold and blue, perfect for a cozy Hogwarts night. You linger, the icy air sharp, but the stall's glow keeps you warm. A faint hum catches your ear. Carols, perhaps, from a hidden corner. You follow, the alley narrowing, and find a wizard strumming a lute, its strings charmed to play Ode to the Wand in a soft, wintry key. Snow dusts his hat, and you toss a canoe into his tin, the tune lifting your spirits. The alleys feel alive. A secret pulse of Diagon Alley, echoing the mischief of Hogwarts. Maybe Fred and George slipped through here, plotting pranks in the frost. You turn another bend, the snow deeper, and discover a cart piled with glacial gems, tiny stones that shimmer like ice, charmed to cool drinks or soothe burns. You pick one up, its chill tingling your fingers, and the vendor grins. Good for a hot cocoa or a hexed hand. 4 sickles. You smile, slipping it into your pocket. The weight, a small treasure from this hidden path. The alley whispers of magic, its nooks holding surprises, tying you to the wizarding world's heart. The wind picks up, swirling snow around you, and you glance back. The main street, a distant glow. These icy alleys, tucked away, feel like a secret shared, a quiet adventure in winter's grasp. You wander on, passing a crevice where a tiny fountain, charmed to bubble despite the freeze, glints under frost. You dip your fingers, the water warm, a spell from some clever witch, and feel the wonder of Diagon Alley's hidden corners. A taste of Hogwarts mystery. Your light orb pulses, guiding you as the alley widens. The sounds of the main stretch, vendors' calls, laughter, fading in again. The snow falls gently, cloaking the path, and you feel alive, wrapped in the magic of these quiet lanes. The stalls and secrets linger in your mind. A cozy, daring detour, and you're ready to see where the next turn leads in this wintry maze. A soft glow from your enchanted ice charm lights your path as you emerge from the narrow alleys. The snowy expanse of Diagon Alley's main stretch opening before you. The air bites at your cheeks, but the promise of warmth draws you toward Madame Malkin's. Robes for all occasions, its shop front aglow with golden light, icicles dripping from the eaves like delicate lace. You feel a tug of nostalgia, Hogwarts days, getting fitted for school robes, the prick of pins as the fabric took shape. With a gentle push, the door opens, and a wave of cozy heat, scented with wool and faint lavender, welcomes you in. The shop buzzes softly. Racks of robes in every hue, emerald, crimson, midnight blue, lining the walls, their folds shimmering with charms. You shake snow from your cloak, the flakes melting on the polished floor, and a cheerful witch, Madame Malkin, perhaps, glances up from a counter, her needle threading itself through velvet. "Something warm for winter?" she asks, smiling. And you nod, eager to explore. Robes hang like a forest of fabric, some enchanted to ripple or glow. And you feel the magic of Hogwarts, where these garments draped students in house pride. You run your fingers over a rack, the wool soft and thick, charmed to repel snow and hold heat. A deep green cloak, edged with silver fur, catches your eye. Slytherin shades, but cozy for anyone. You lift it, the fabric heavy yet light, and imagine wearing it across Hogwarts' snowy grounds, wind howling past the towers. A sign reads, "Winter wardrobe charms, waterproof, warm, and weightless," and you marvel, picturing Harry or Draco draped in such robes, braving a blizzard to class. The witch beckons you to a fitting area, mirrors charmed to show you in the cloak from every angle. You slip it on, the fabric settling like a warm embrace, the charm tingling as it adjusts to your frame. The mirror you turns, the fur trim glinting, and you feel a swell of comfort, ready for any winter day. Perfect for a Diagon Alley stroll or a Hogsmeade trip, the witch says, pinning a hem, and you nod, the coziness sinking in. Nearby, a stack of scarves, Gryffindor red, Hufflepuff yellow, sits folded, each woven with a heating spell. You pick up a blue one, Ravenclaw's hue, its threads soft and warm, and wrap it around your neck. It hums faintly, banishing the chill. And you think of snowy Hogwarts evenings, scarves like these tucked under chins as friends laughed toward the castle. A basket of mittens, charmed to grip wands without slipping, tempts you, their wool embroidered with tiny snowflakes that shift and twinkle. The shop hums with quiet life. Two witches debate cloak lengths. A child twirls in a tiny robe, giggling Needles dance in the air, stitching seams, and you watch, mesmerized, as a robe mends itself, thread glowing gold. The warmth wraps you like a Hogwarts common room. The memory of fireside chats alive here. You spot a rack of Yule Ball remnants, elegant cloaks in silver and ice blue, perfect for a winter dance. And imagine the great hall, enchanted snow falling, music echoing. You turn to a display of everyday robes, thick and practical, labeled snow ready for wizards on the go. A charcoal one, lined with soft fleece, feels sturdy, and you drape it over your arm. Tempted, the witch offers. Try it with a warming charm boost. 3 galleons. And you smile, considering it. The thought of toasty comfort in the snow appealing. The mirrors reflect your grin. The robe's magic, a shield against Diagon Alley's chill. A whir of pins and fabric fills the air. The shop's charm, a cozy cocoon. You notice a small table with robe repair kits, thread, patches, and a tiny wand to seal tears. Perfect for a ripped hem after a snowy Hogwarts prank. You pick one up, its weight light, and feel tied to the wizarding world, where robes bore the marks of adventures. The witch hums a carol, her wand waving, and you sway. The tune a echo of Hogwarts' holiday cheer. You decide on the green cloak, its fur trim too cozy to resist, and hand over galleons. The witch wraps it in paper, tying it with twine, and says, "Stay warm out there." You tuck it under your arm, the bundle a promise of comfort. Madame Malkin's glows around you, its racks and charms, a piece of Hogwarts' heart, and you feel ready to face the winter, wrapped in magic. Your new green cloak, bundled in paper, rests under your arm as you leave Madame Malkin's, the shop's warmth fading into the crisp bite of Diagon Alley's winter air. Laughter and a flicker of light draw your gaze down the street, where a small crowd gathers, their faces lit by bursts of color. You wander closer, the snow softening your steps, and find a trio of street performers, wizards in tattered but festive robes, juggling snowballs that glow red, blue, and gold. The sight sparks a memory of Hogwarts' Great Hall, where enchanted lights danced at feasts, and you pause, captivated by the magic unfolding. The lead performer, a lanky wizard with a snow-dusted beard, twirls his wand, and the snowballs spin faster, trailing sparkles like tiny comets. You watch, breath clouding as he flicks his wrist, and one bursts into a flurry of silver stars, drawing gasps and claps from the crowd. A witch beside him, her hat askew, chants a charm, and a ribbon of light weaves through the air, shaping a glowing stag. Prongs, like Harry's Patronus, galloping above the snow. Your heart lifts, the spell a dazzling echo of Hogwarts charm lessons, and you join the applause, the cold, forgotten. A third wizard, short and grinning, taps his wand, and a pile of snow rises, molding into a tiny dragon that flaps icy wings and puffs harmless frost. Kids squeal, reaching out, and you laugh, imagining the delight of such magic in Hogwarts courtyard. Students dodging playful bursts. The crowd thickens. Witches and wizards bundled in cloaks, their eyes bright, and you feel the shared wonder, a thread of the wizarding world's joy. The dragon melts back to snow, and the juggler tosses up more glowing balls, their colors painting the frosty air. You edge closer, the performer's energy infectious. The witch waves her wand, and a shower of golden light blooms, forming snowflakes that hover, twinkling before dissolving. Winter charms. Folks, cannot to learn one, she calls, and a young boy tosses a coin, eager. She kneels, whispering, and his wand flicks, sparking a tiny blue flame that dances in his palm. You smile, recalling your own first charms at Hogwarts. Flitwick's patient voice guiding you, and feel the magic of this moment, alive in Diagon Alley's chill. The lanky wizard spins, his robe flaring, and conjures a ring of snowballs that orbit him, glowing brighter, red to green to purple. You marvel. The display a burst of festive cheer, and think of Dumbledore, how he'd light the great hall with such flair at Christmas. A child tugs your cloak, pointing, and you nod, sharing her awe. The wizard winks, then taps his wand, and the snowballs burst into a cascade of light, dusting the crowd with harmless, tingling sparkles that melt like snow. The short wizard steps up, a mischievous grin on his face, and waves his wand over a snowbank. It rises, shaping into a wobbly snowman, its eyes coal black, a twig arm waving. He mutters a charm, and it lumbers forward, tossing tiny snowballs that puff into mist mid-air. Laughter ripples through the crowd, and you dodge one, chuckling, the playfulness a taste of Hogwarts hijinks. maybe a Weasley prank in the making. The snowman bows, crumbling back to powder, and you clap, warmed by the fun. A collection tin jingles, passed by the witch, and you drop a few sickles, the metal clinking. For the show, she grins, and you nod, happy to fuel this magic. The performers weave spells faster now, lights swirling, snowballs spinning, a glowing badger and snake joining the stag in the air, a nod to Hogwarts houses. You watch, mesmerized, the cold air alive with color and charm, the street a stage of winter wonder. The crowd hums, some swaying to a faint tune, a carol charmed to echo from the wizard's wands. Wands of holly, wands of pine. You hum along, the sound familiar from Hogwarts halls, and feel wrapped in the season's spirit. The performers bow, snow dusting their robes, and the crowd claps louder, coins rattling. You linger, the light and laughter a cozy balm, tying this snowy street to the magic of your school days. The spells fade, the glowing shapes dissolving, and the crowd thins, murmurs of delight trailing off. You stand a moment, the performers packing up, their wands still sparking faintly. The snow falls gently, catching the lantern light, and you feel the joy of their magic. A burst of Hogwarts heart in Diagon Alley's winter. Your cloak keeps you warm, and you're ready to wander on, the night alive with possibility. Laughter from the street performers fades as you turn, your cloak brushing snow from your shoulders, and the tantalizing scent of roasted chestnuts wafts through the frosty air. Stalls line Diagon Alley, their awnings heavy with white, vendors calling out amid the glow of lanterns. You feel a hunger stir, a memory of Hogwarts feasts, warm treats after a snowy Hogsmeade trip, and wander toward the tempting aromas, eager to taste winter's delights. Your hands, chilled despite gloves, crave something hot, and the bustling carts promise cozy treasures to savor. A wizard in a woolen cap waves you over, his cart steaming with chestnuts, their shells split and golden. Hot chestnuts, 2 nuts a bag, he bellows, scooping them into paper with a flick of his wand. You hand over coins, and the bag warms your palms, the nutty scent rising like a charm. You peel one, the heat seeping through, and pop it in your mouth, rich, sweet, and toasty, a perfect shield against the cold. You think of Hogwarts' house elves, piling treats on tables, and smile, munching as you stroll. Next, a stall glows with Honeydukes' charm, its sign dusted with snow, jars and trays brimming with winter sweets. You pause, eyes wide at frosted candies, peppermint toads, their white chocolate shells sparkling, and sugar quills iced in blue, glittering like frost. A witch offers a sample. Winter fudge, charmed to warm you. You take a piece, the creamy sweetness melting, a tingle of heat spreading through you. Memories of sneaking Honeydukes, treats into Hogwarts dorms, flood back, and you feel the magic of those days in every bite. You browse, the stall a rainbow of delights. Glacial gummies shimmer, cool yet sweet, and snowdrop drops glow, promising a burst of vanilla and mint. You grab a bag of each, handing over galleons, the paper crinkling as you tuck them into your cloak. The witch grins. Perfect for a snowy night. And you nod, imagining savoring them by a fire, the taste of Diagon Alley's winter lingering. The crowd hums, kids pointing at chocolate frogs, their boxes hopping faintly, and you feel the festive buzz. A nearby cart catches your eye, steam rising from a cauldron of mulled mead, its scent, cinnamon, clove, and honey, warming the air. You trade a few sickles, and the vendor fills a wooden mug, the liquid hot and golden. You sip, the spiced warmth flooding your chest, and picture Hagrid at Hogwarts, raising a tankard like this, his laugh booming. The drink soothes, a cozy hug in the chill, and you cradle it, snowflakes dusting your gloves as you wander on. Another stall tempts with frosted pumpkin pies, tiny and golden, their crusts dusted with sugar like snow. You buy one, the pastry flaking as you bite, the pumpkin sweet and spiced, a taste of Hogwarts' Great Hall at Christmas. You chew slowly, the warmth spreading, and spot a tray of iced wands, biscuits shaped like wands, their tips dipped in white chocolate and sprinkles. You add a few to your haul, the vendor wrapping them, and feel the joy of gathering winter treats. The air grows colder, snow falling thicker, but the stall's glow keeps you cozy. A wizard hawks ever-hot taffy, charmed to stay warm, and you try a piece, the caramel stretching, heating your fingers. It's a delight, tying you to Hogwarts' sweet-filled nights, sneaking snacks with friends. You tuck more into your cloak, the weight of your bags a growing comfort. Each treat, a piece of Diagon Alley's magic to savor later. Vendors call out, their voices mingling. Spiced nuts, glacier mints, and you linger. The scents and sights a feast. A child clutches a frosted lollipop, its colors swirling, and you smile. The scene a mirror of your own wonder as a Hogwarts student. Your mug of mead empties, the last sip warming, and you return it. The vendor nodding thanks. Your hands brim with bags, chestnuts, candies, and pies, a bounty of winter's best. The snow dusts your cloak, the alley alive with shoppers and light, and you feel full, not just of treats, but of the season's spirit. These goodies, warm and sweet, echo Hogwarts' heart, a taste of magic to carry with you. You shift your parcels, the crinkle a promise of cozy nights, and turn, ready for Diagon Alley's next wonder. Twilight deepens over Diagon Alley, and you pause. Bags of treats, chestnuts, frosted candies, and pies, cradled in your arms, their warmth a comfort against the chill. The sky shifts, a soft purple streaked with gold, as the sun dips low, painting the snow in hues of amber and rose. You find a quiet spot near a frosted bench, the cobblestones blanketed white, and gaze upward, the beauty of the sunset stealing your breath. Lanterns flicker to life, their golden glow mingling with the fading light, and snow falls gently. A delicate curtain over the bustling alley. You settle on the bench, its wood charmed to stay warm, and let the scene unfold. Witches and wizards hurry past, their cloaks dusted white, parcels swinging as they call goodbyes. The air hums with magic, vendors packing up, owls hooting overhead, a faint carol drifting from a shop. You think of Hogwarts at dusk, the castle's towers silhouetted against a snowy sky, the great hall aglow with candlelight and cheer. This moment, here in Diagon Alley, feels like an extension, a cozy, close to a wintry day. The sky glows brighter for a moment, gold and pink streaking across the clouds, and you watch, mesmerized, as snowflakes catch the light, sparkling like tiny charms. A child nearby waves a wand, sending up a burst of silver sparks, and you smile, recalling your own spells cast in Hogwarts' snowy courtyard. The alley quiets, the bustle softening, and you feel the day's magic settle around you. Shops' warm glow, the crunch of snow, the weight of your treats, all a tapestry of the wizarding world's heart. You shift, the bench creaking, and peek into your bags, the scent of chestnuts and peppermint rising. The sunset paints the shop fronts, flourish and blots, Weasleys Wizard Wheezes, in a rosy hue, their windows twinkling, icicles glinting like jewels. A wizard passes, his wand tip glowing, lighting his path, and you feel a kinship, a shared wonder from Hogwarts to here. The snow falls thicker, blanketing the cobbles, and you tilt your head, flakes kissing your cheeks, a faint tingle of magic in their touch. Distant hoots echo, owls taking flight, their wings brushing the air as they vanish into the twilight. You imagine them soaring to Hogwarts, letters tied to their legs, and feel a pang of nostalgia for those days. Fireside chats, snowy walks, the castle alive with winter. The sky darkens, stars peeking through, and the lanterns burn brighter, casting pools of light. You hug your parcels, the day's treasures, robes, treats, owl snacks, a cozy haul from Diagon Alley's wintry embrace. The air grows colder, your breath clouding, but the bench's warmth and your cloak keep you snug. A final vendor calls, last hot mead, and you consider one, but the sunset holds you, its beauty a spell. The alley glows, a picture of magic, snow piling on signs, lights dancing. The day winding down, you feel full, not just of treats, but of wonder. The spirit of Hogwarts and Diagon Alley woven into this quiet, snowy moment. You rise, the snow crunching faintly, and take a last look. The sky is deep blue now, stars winking. The sunset's glow, a memory on the horizon. Diagon Alley hums softly, a winter dream, and you feel ready to leave. Your heart warm with the day's magic. The snow falls, gentle and steady. A final gift, and you turn, bags in hand, the alley's charm lingering as you head home. As the night deepens, you make your way back, the snow softening your steps, the glow of Diagon Alley fading behind. You clutch your parcels, chestnuts still warm, candies twinkling, the green cloak a promise of coziness. The cold bites, but your heart glows, filled with the day's wonders. Shops, pranks, owls, and spells. You imagine a quiet evening, curled by a fire, your wand casting a soft lumos as you savor a frosted treat. The taste of winter lingering. Hogwarts feels close, its magic carried in your bags, your memories. The stars shine above, snow dusts your path, and you feel at peace. The wizarding world a warm embrace, You slip through the Leaky Cauldron, the Muggle world ahead. But Diagon Alley's snowy charm stays with you, a cozy tale to dream on.